are recording. Too bad. Hi, how are you? I'm Bill. Nice to meet you. So this happened to me recently. I was accused of wanting too much from a relationship that was too new, right? A woman told me, oh, I date women. I have to say that up front because you don't know and sometimes I don't. A woman told me, hey, we just started dating. You expect way too much from this relationship too soon. It's like, fair, I get it. We only gone on 1.5-ish dates, so yeah, I get you. But here's the problem with that. I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think I had too many expectations for her. Because when we went on 1.5-ish dates, I'm like, hey, when I'm not with you, you can do whatever you want. Here's what I don't want you to do, though. Show up to our 2.5-ish date, high on Molly, and making out with your coworker. Like, I don't expect much, but I do expect that. You know what I mean? It's weird, because, like, I'm not the kind of dude who, like, expects that much from the women in general that I date. Like, I don't really need you to be any specific kind of thing. Well, I take that back. I guess, like, all I want is, like, if you got a funky haircut and complex opinions about the school to prison pipeline, we should text. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of dude I am. You know what I'm saying? It's not that big of a... I know that's very specific. I said I don't like specific things. I named, like, the most specific... I know. Natural hair is cool, too. Just so you know. There's black ladies over there. Had to make sure they know I'm not only in one... Okay. But here's the thing. I feel like... I don't know that other people agree with this, but I feel like a pretty open book. I feel like I'm pretty straightforward. I would describe myself as a Netflix in the streets and a Hulu Plus in the sheets. You know what I mean? You don't know what I mean? Because no one has ever said that before? Got it. I'll explain it to you. I feel like a Netflix in the streets because, like, you can walk down the street, you take one look at me, and you know. You can see right away, that guy probably got a big catalog. You know what I'm saying? Talking about my dick. You with me? Cool. But when you get me home, I'm a lot more like Hulu Plus because no matter what you do, gotta stop and start a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of ads. Gotta explain some shit to you. Dating and love are like weird for me in my my late 20s and early 30s have been like very weird, fun but like very weird. And I think I've discovered what the problem is. The love songs from the 80s and 90s. You guys grew up in the 80s and 90s with love songs and like Boyz II Men and fucking R. Kelly. But for real, love songs fuck me up. And I think I know why. Because they're super binary, right? And they're not binary in the way you think. They're binary in this way. They're either all, we're gonna be in love forever, for the rest of eternity. We're gonna love each other forever. We're meant for each other. Or, we're gonna fuck tonight and never see each other again. There's no in between. And I don't like that. I feel like there should be an in between. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there should be something in the middle. I want a love song that's more realistic. I want a love song that's more like this. And I'm gonna love you for 6 months until we both get bored. And when we're done, we won't break up. I just won't call you no more. Oh, Cupid. Okay, Cupid, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of love song I think I would enjoy. I'm really surprised I was able to like do that without cracking it off because I have a lot of anxiety. This is true, I'm a very anxious person. But I've realized something about myself in the last like 5 years or so of dealing with my anxiety in a real way and not just by hiding it all the time, is that everybody's like that. Like, in this city especially, I think we're all just like seconds away from fucking losing it. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like a frayed shoestring. But couldn't ignore that. Okay. You know what I mean? Do you guys ever have a frayed shoestring on your shoe? Like, every time you take off or put on that shoe, after the little plastic nubbin comes off and the shoestring starts to spread apart like a flower? You know what I'm talking about? Every single day after that is white-knuckling your whole fucking life. Because you take that shoe off or you put it on, and you're just hoping to God it never comes out of that little hole. Because if it comes out of the hole, it's never going back in! You know what I mean? Like, that's what your life is in Chicago sometimes. I saw a woman on the train platform that this happened to. This really happened. We were standing on the train platform. It's after work, rush hour, and the train just blows by us and goes express, right? Not that big of a deal, but like kind of an inconvenience, right? But one woman decided to react in this particular way, and I quote, this is what she said. No! And then she turned around, looked at the closest motherfucker to her, happened to be this asshole, locked eyes, and then pointed at the train tracks, which are now empty, and said, "What?" And I knew what she meant. What she was trying to say was, how are you not also reacting like this? Do you not see what I see? Because I see the devil himself. You know what I mean? And in that moment, you guys, this is true, in that moment, I laughed the hardest I've ever laughed, right in her face. And it wasn't because I was just, I was not trying to shame her or fuck up her life in it, but I got it. It was such a real human moment that I entered her body and I was like, this is absurd, and I'm with you. It was insane. She let the last piece of masking tape holding together her sanity just fly away. And it was super weird. I get it. I want to fucking primal scream in the streets all the time, but cops exist. You know what I mean? I don't want to be near them. I get my primal screaming done in the bathroom at work when everybody else is at lunch. And when I say in the bathroom at work, I mean the bathroom for one person with walls that go all the way down to the floor, just for the record. I don't like the public bathrooms with the walls that go down to your knees. I don't need to see your shoes as you're pushing out your salad after lunch. What the fuck are we doing, America? Europe's got that shit figured out, and they don't have a lot figured out. You know what I'm saying? Why do we have bathrooms where we have to share pooping? That's the craziest thing in the world to me, and I'll never get over it. So I was on the train the other day, and I saw the most hated man on the train. Actually, I didn't see the man, I saw his ghost. And that was the man with the sunflower seeds. You know that guy? He's just chewing on sunflower seeds, spitting them wherever, and daring anybody to talk back. I didn't see that guy, but I saw his ghost, which means a full train, every seat full, people standing up, one empty seat with a halo of sunflower seeds around it. And I said, fuck that. We can't have that. Not today, right? And so I got up, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking clean this up. I'm gonna clean up this city. I got real Batman about it. And so I started scooping up the sunflower seeds. I found the package, and I found a red eye, and I made a funnel like MacGyver, and I was scooping up. It's really disgusting in hindsight, actually. Those were in his mouth. But I started scooping them up, and I felt pretty good about myself. I sat in a seat, and then somebody sat in the seat I had vacated, right? So I'm I did something. For one person at least, I did something. Until the train rolled over at Clark and Lake, and now I'm just a guy with a package of sunflower seeds in his hand, and sunflower seeds all over the floor, and looking really proud of myself. Now I'm just the guy with the sunflower seeds. We can't have that. So here's what I did. I was like, fuck that. We cannot have this. I'm not going to be that guy. So I jumped up at the next stop, and I was like, I'm pretty quick. I'll just run off the train, throw that shit in the trash, get back on the train. No big deal, right? Except what happened when I did that was I ran off the train, and someone grabbed me by my wrist in the doorway. And I looked back, and there was a grown man who said, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean? Oh, I left my backpack on the train. So this motherfucker thinks I'm blowing this shit up right now. He thinks I'm a terrorist. He saw something and decided to say something. You know what I mean? So I realized what he was. I did the mental math, and I was like, oh, well, I'll be right back. So he doesn't. It'll be fine. But this is what I said verbally to him. I did all that math and didn't say this. What I said was, don't worry, it's cool. Which is the wrong thing to say. Especially this part, that was not the right thing. And then, on top of that, I ran away immediately after I said that. So it's just he just went from mild annoyance to absolute horror. And I was okay with it because I'd still rather be the fucking terrorist who's blowing up the train than the guy with the goddamn sunflower seeds. That guy's a monster. All right. You guys, I'm going to do one more thing and then I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, I have a lot of anxiety. I was walking home or walking back to work after having a panic attack, and I saw a man. I swear to God, this is a real person who actually exists. You're not going to believe me, but this is a real person who actually exists. There was a man who was crossing the street who was excitedly holding and eating a box of Crayola crayons, like they were French fries, just going at it. And he was having a great time. And I turned around after he passed me. I was like, wait, what the fuck just? And then he was gone. And I think about that man every single day. Where did he go? I want to know his This American Life story, you know what I mean? Every day on our show, we choose a theme. Today's theme, the colors of our mouths. Act 1, Crazyola, the story of a man who literally decided to taste the rainbow. All right, guys, thanks a lot.